Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Moss Pawn and Gun. We've got another video for you today. I'm here with a special guest. I've got Chris Cheng. All right, he's the champion of Season 4 Top Shot in the History Channel. You guys probably seen him on TV and everything. He's got a book out called Shoot to Win. It's got a bunch of really cool stuff in it. Lots of good tips and everything for beginners and professionals alike. Just good marksmanship, gear. He talks about a lot of stuff, a lot of good tips in the book. But what this particular video is about, we want to discuss three-gun gear. You know, Chris is also an avid three-gun shooter. Really good shot all around, as you've probably seen on the History Channel if you've watched Top Shot. But we want to talk about three-gun gear. That's the purpose of this video. Three-gun, essentially, guys, in case you can't figure it out, it involves three guns in competition form. It usually involves a pistol of some sort, a rifle, and a shotgun. All right, and there's various stages, there's various iterations, you know, different rules and everything. You got different classes. We'll get into that a little bit, but what we really want this video to be about mainly is gear. So what sets three-gun gear apart from just your everyday off-the-shelf gun?
A lot of three-gun gear, including your pistol, rifle, shotgun, and then I have a competition belt on, holster for my pistol and magazines. They're all designed for speed and for maximum maneuverability. If I need to be able to draw a magazine quickly from from the holster. And one thing that I really want to emphasize for beginners is if you're a brand new three-gunner, what you see here today are highly modified firearms. I'm sponsored by a number of companies that are providing me with with the gear and the modifications, and you do not need to have this top shelf guns and gear to get started into three-gun. My first three-gun match, I brought Glock 34, an AR-15, and a Remington 870 pump shotgun, and that was almost the right kind of gear to guns to bring for the division I was shooting in. But the pump shotgun was the thing that really held me back. And other guys are shooting semi-auto with 8+1 capacity, and here I am with 5+1. But don't worry about it. The idea about three-gun is to have a really fun time getting really good practice with all three weapons platforms. And for me, there's no better way to practice than to actually get out to a shooting competition and have a good time.
Well, not only the competition element, but one thing that I like about three-gun, now, I've not really done a lot of three-gun shooting. That's why on our channel, when we bring in guys like Chris, we bring in guys like Jerry Michalik, we've had a lot of wonderful guests that give their time to us to come down here and help explain some of these things to you guys. I'm not a three-gun guy in the sense that I go out and do it every weekend or every week or practice or anything, but I do understand how three-gun can help you as a shooter. It hones your skills, even if you're just focusing on beating your times, and not even if you're not even competing with everyone else. If you're competing with yourself and you're improving as an individual shooter, then you're going in the right direction. And what I like about three-gun is that if you take an average firearm and you hand it to a three-gun guy, he's going to find a way to break it. He's going to find a way to show the limitations of the firearm. And three-gun generally weeds out the weak.
Yeah, absolutely.
In mind, body, and spirit, and the guns.
And the hardware, the three-gun, the national and regional matches, and a lot of local matches too. We're talking about really high round counts. In any single given match, I'll go through 150 rifle rounds, 200 pistol rounds, and 150 shotgun rounds. And sometimes that's if I hit all my targets.
Right.
So I need I'm shooting and I need more ammo than that for a lot of matches. And then to talk about even just breaking in a gun. This is actually not really three-gun specific, but I would say, most three-gunners, we need to put at least 1,000 rounds through a gun, but before we even start to trust it. I mean, that's if the gun can't even survive 1,000 rounds, then we're maybe not gonna introduce that into our competition set of guns at that point.
For sure.
We've done some more testing.
Well, with the guns here, we're going to get to the guns themselves. I always have been kind of a Glock guy, and I notice a lot of three-gun guys, it seems like they either run a Glock 34 or a you know, Smith & Wesson M&P like core
Yep.
with the slide riding sight. So we were discussing earlier the differences in the divisions. Okay, you got like an open class, and open class basically is like the name entails, it's anything goes. So like in an open class gun, you've got shotguns with optics on them. You've got rifles with optics and backup red dots on them. You've got red dots on pistols. Anything goes in open class. Now, this Glock here that you've got is one awesome 34 there.
Yeah, so Salient Arms is one of my sponsors, and they've modified this Glock pistol. And what we've got here is a lot of slide lightning, and you see the ports on the side. And you know what that does is when you're removing a lot of the mass from the slide, that allows it to reciprocate faster and keep up with as fast as you can squeeze that trigger. We've got some gold ion bonding on the barrel, and it's partially for aesthetics, but it hardens the barrel, so it'll extend the life. You know, gosh, I've put maybe you know, 10,000 rounds through this barrel, and you know, no problem so far. Some other modifications, you know, definitely swapping out a trigger on any stock gun is a typical modification for most 3-gun shooters. Changing out the sights as well. You know, obviously there's a lot of different sight systems, and you have to choose the system that works best for you. Stippling. Stippling is one of, I would say, the most you know, biggest return on investments that you can do to a gun. Stippling is all of this coating. It's not really a coating. It's a burning of the polymer frame, and so when I grab the gun, I get a more positive grip. So you have to think about, you know, a lot of 3-gun matches we're outside for 12 hours a day. It could be humid, we're sweating, we got, you know, sunscreen, and when you grab a gun, the last thing you want is to have a slippery hand grabbing onto a gun and the gun, you know, not having a good grip on the gun. So stippling is a very a good and affordable modification. Lastly, I have a Surefire X300 weapons light. Some 3-gun matches operate at nighttime, but what this does for a lot of shooters is it adds more weight on the muzzle end, so you're controlling muzzle flip, reducing recoil as well, since you're adding more weight to the entire frame of the gun, and therefore you have more control, and you can get your sights back on a target for rapid follow-up.
And well, the cool thing on those 34s too is that there is some room on those frames to do some grip reduction. And I know some guys will actually have them like reduced to make them a little bit thinner in the hand, a little bit better fitting in the hand. The stippling on this particular gun feels excellent, and I love the lightning cuts they put on that particular gun. And Chris and I both have the same philosophy when it comes to sights on a gun. I think that combat sights should be a deep U style HD Trijicon sight. So, you know, you've got that deep notch in the rear and allowing that front sight to pick up real easy. And I'm the kind of shooter with a pistol, I shoot off the front sight. Now, yeah, I mean, I maintain a sight picture, and I put, you know, the front sight in relation to the rear sight in the same place each time. But if I'm trying to shoot in a hurry and it's something that's within combat range, I'm just going to generally punch. You know, I'm going to generally punch it out and put it right there.
Yeah, you're picking up that front sight as quickly as possible.
I love the way those sights pick up on that particular gun. Excellent.
The other thing I think to quickly talk about is your magazines, and so the notable modification here is a base pad extension by a company called Terran Tactical Innovations. Not only does it extend your magazine capacity, this is a 17-round Glock 17 magazine. The base pad adds another 5 rounds. And what the other benefit here is when the magazine's empty and I need to drop the magazine, the extra weight on the bottom helps that magazine fall faster and empty out and hit the ground, so you can come back in.
Yeah, you're not having to do this deal where you're doing a bit of a flip.
The wrist flip, or you see people ripping their magazines out, which is good. But if you don't have to exert that energy to rip and strip your magazine out, you can just drop and just come right in to come back on
without
a target.
spending time too. You know, the whole thing in 3-gun, guys, it is a timed event. So you know, it's who can do it the fastest, and who can do it the most efficiently and the least round count, and who can hit all their targets. I mean, the thing I like about 3-gun so much is it does have sort of like combat-inspired elements to it. It's got practical shooting-inspired elements to it. So it kind of combines a ton of different disciplines into something where, most importantly, it's just to get out there and have fun. And you get to use 3 different guns. So speaking of different guns, your rifle here, this is a really nice holding.
Yeah,
what you
so
got
Holding
here?
Precision is another company that sponsors me along with Leupold and Stevens. Now, this AR-15 is it's a matched upper lower receiver. Holding makes this carbon fiber forearm and then also the buffer tube. And what's going on here with the Wraith model is it's a very, very light gun. Comes in at about 6.2 pounds unloaded. The scope obviously is going to add some extra weight. But when you've got some stages that will last maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and sometimes we're running a lot, and we've got a 30-round magazine, and you're shooting upwards of 60 rounds sometimes. Do you want to be running around with more weight on the gun? Typically, I like to shoot a lighter rifle, but typically when you have a lighter rifle, you're then running the risk of increasing recoil and muzzle flip. Well, that's the beauty of this AR-15 by Holding and a lot of other modified AR-15s is that they, with lightened bolts and other internal modifications, the gun can shoot really flat and still remain really light.
Oh, yeah.
And with a 16 to 18-inch barrel, we're reaching out sometimes to 700, 750 yards. You gotta come out and to 3-gun match and experience the fun.
Well, for 5.56, that's a long way, guys. Now, there's some competition out there that involves bench rest and shooting, 5.56 out to 1,000 yards. The round will definitely go, but you have to really make calculations on the fly quickly, and that's where, optics like this Leupold come in handy. They have a good ballistic drop reticle in them that, once you get some time behind it, understand exactly what's going on. You can use your ballistic reticle. You don't have to dial. You just hold, read the wind, Kentucky windage it, and that's generally how most of your 3-gun guys, they're not going to stop and make adjustments. They're gonna basically hold instead of dial, and that's where a lot of those reticles come in handy for that. With rifles too, one thing that I'm not a competitor. Okay, Chris is, but I'm sure he can agree with me here that with rifle weight, you're always going to sacrifice one thing for the other. Okay, if you get a rifle that's nice and lightweight, you might get more barrel flip from having a lighter profile barrel. You might get more recoil, like you mentioned. But having a heavier gun, okay, yeah, you're gonna have to hump the gun around. It's a little more weight to move around with, but you might opt for a stiffer barrel. It gets you a little bit better barrel harmonics, a little bit more less muzzle flip because you got a nice heavy barrel. You might choose a certain style of brake, muzzle brake, that's gonna really keep that barrel from whipping around on you. It really comes down to preference and the kind of shooter you are. The trigger that's in this gun is amazing. He's got a Geisley Super 3-gun trigger with the flat shoe. Great trigger.
Yeah, I would say, for the beginner, you don't need to worry about a lot of these modifications. Again, that's just going to be a general theme throughout this entire video is, the modifications will come later. Go to any 3-gun match with whatever you've got. If you've got a Glock, if you've got a Smith & Wesson M&P, if you've got a CZ75, or honestly SIG P226, whatever pistol you have, whatever rifle you have, even if you don't have an AR-15, if you've got a Ruger Mini 14, whatever you got, just come, and it's all about having a good time. I would say though, once you have shot a match or two, some of the more common modifications for your AR-15s, the main thing would be the trigger. With Geisley or CMC or gosh, what's the other trigger company out there? Timney. Yep. Any 3 of those companies have really fantastic triggers, but really swapping that out for a nice, smooth, crisp, short pull, short reset trigger will allow for those really, really fast follow-up shots, which are pretty vital in 3-gun.
Yeah, and there's a ton of guys out there making really good quality triggers. A lot of them are excellent. There's a lot of them out there, guys. You have to make those determinations for yourself. Accessories for ARs are just like anything else. Some of you guys are car guys. You like to accessorize your cars, change stuff out. The AR-15 is just pretty much the love child for the person that likes to accessorize and change things on their gun.
It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, I know. But rifles are one of those things. And like Chris mentioned, if you're going to get out there and have fun with what you got, the thing that I would add to that is get good with what you have and get the skill set there. Once the skill set's there, you make improvements to the equipment to make you faster at that skill set. So don't think that by relying on a $4,000 gun that all of a sudden you're going to show up to the event and be a better shooter as a result. Guys, the skills have to come first. Then when you learn what in your entire rig is going to cause you to lose time, and you want to improve that and make that better and more personalized to you, that's when you start switching things that are going to make you personally a better shooter. And guys, the only people that can know that is you that's watching. This is just one guy. My 3-gun rig might be completely different than his. Now, yes, I might have some form of Benelli semi-auto shotgun. Yes, I'd probably run some type of an AR because of the modularity. And of course, I'd run a Glock 34. But my guns might be set up entirely different because of the kind of shooter I am. So it is a very personal thing, guys. So that's just something to think about.
And that's okay, you know, when I go to a match, you know, part of the fun of going to a 3-gun competition is you get to see everyone else's guns and gear. You talk about and get insight, you know, hey, why did you do this or that to your gun and how's that working? And hey, you know, can I try out your gun? And a lot of 3-gun, you know, shooters will be happy to let you at least, you know, take a look and handle the gun. And if there is an opportunity during the match, a lot of matches are really busy, but you know, if there's an opportunity to, you know, fire a few rounds out of it, you know, a lot of competitors like myself would be happy to let you shoot.
Yeah, I like the idea when you go to an area like that where you got a lot of competitors in one place, there's a good camaraderie there too. You know, yes, it's competition, but at the same time, people understand that they're in like-minded group of people that like to do the same thing, and they get together and talk gear. And it's one of those things, hey, what kind of brake you running? What kind of this you're running? And a lot of that conversation will occur, and sometimes you can pick up great tips from your fellow competitors even. And most of those guys are gonna be more than happy enough to tell you anything you wanna know about their rigs. I mean, a lot of guys will even coach each other on the spot, like, hey, I saw something you did. And there's that camaraderie that exists there that I think only competition can really bring out. So you're running the same base plate on your AR mags there. You're running P mags.
So yeah, similar to the Glock magazine that I was showing earlier. This is a standard 30-round P mag. Have a Terran Tactical base pad on the bottom. That same function. It adds 2 or 3 rounds to the capacity, but it's really about when you drop the magazine that there's some extra weight that will help it just free fall to the ground.
I've seen some of these Terran Tactical extensions that, correct me if I'm wrong or not, they have 10 to 15. They've got some of the longer ones too.
There's some longer ones, which are great. And the other thing to note is that
and it adds a lot of weight too. So when it's empty, you got that big hunk of aluminum there, really getting that magazine out of there. The last thing you want to do is waste time trying to flip a mag out or something. So that's smart.
Yeah, and one thing that's also neat about these base pads is that if you have a company or just a personal logo, Terran Tactical, they'll be able to laser etch your own personal logo, so you get some extra personalization.
How well do those deal with, I guess, like being dropped in concrete and all? I mean, they hold together well. That's one benefit too, I guess, is longevity. They hold together well.
Absolutely. I've been using these base pads for 3 years now, give or take, and in 3-gun, like most competition shooting environments, when you drop a mag, it's just falling to the ground. It might be on concrete, it might be on gravel, dirt, mud, some places snow.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of different surfaces, and I have never swapped out a base pad yet in 3 years. So they're very durable, and a lot of different fun colors too if you are the color inclined.
Well, we were talking a little bit a few days ago about shotguns. I'm a real big Benelli fan. I like Benelli M4s. That's the kind of shotgun I like. I love the M3. Chad just picked up an M3 recently. Well, the shotgun you're running here is an M2. So tell us about that a little bit.
So the Benelli M2 is the workhorse in the 3-gun world. There are plenty of other fantastic platforms. My first shotgun actually was a Mossberg 930. Fantastic shotgun. A lot of 3-gunners are using SLP and Remingtons, but for someone like me who recently got into 3-gun 3 years ago after I won Top Shot, I saw M2s as the most common shotgun platform. So I have my Benelli M2 here, modified by Salient Arms, and this is probably my favorite gun.
The trigger on that gun is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of stock triggers on any gun, whether we're talking pistol, rifle, shotgun. A lot of stock triggers can be a little squishy and a little long, long travel and long reset. But Salient has done a trigger modification. All the internal springs have been changed out. What we've got here on the bolt is the stock bolt has been shaved down to take weight off of the bolt. And again, with 3-gun being such a fast pace, just burn them down kind of shooting, lightening that bolt allows it to reciprocate faster and keep up with as fast as you're pulling that trigger.
Well, the hard coatings on the bolt also help, make cleaning easier. Helps for carbon and other types of buildup.
Yeah, and also the inertia-driven system in the M2 is another benefit of the M2 platform that's more focused on recoil reduction, and so that's just another feature of the M2. Some other features and modifications that Salient has done is stippling right here on the stock and then also on the forearm, so you get that more positive grip when grabbing the gun with wet hands or sweat or running sunscreen, that kind of thing.
Sure.
You'll notice an extension tube. A company called Nordic Components makes some great extension tubes, and the biggest thing I would say in a 3-gun shotgun setup where you're going to get the most bang for your buck is opening up your loading gate here. Shotgun reloading is one of, I would say, the most challenging skill sets and one of the most foreign skills that a new 3-gun shooter will come across. And so opening up this gate, shaving and opening up the gate, and oftentimes there's this little like half moon on the loading gate that when you're loading, either if you're doing there's a load 4 strong weak hand load, your thumb can get caught right here in that little half moon, but you can either swap out the gate completely or you can fill in that gap and weld it shut. And a lot of internal polishing and again springs being changed out to make it a real race gun.
Absolutely. Now, do you find that in your competition with shotgun, you like running it just open sights without running any kind of optic on it?
Yeah, so I shoot in a class called tactical optics. So this shotgun and the rifle that I brought today, those are tactical optics, legal firearms. The Glock 34, this would actually fall into open class. Brought it today because that's sort of my fun, sexy gun that I like to show off when I can.
I hear you.
But yeah, so for shotgun, you'll see here, I don't have any sighting system on it other than just single fiber optic red sight on the front. And the most important thing I would say about sort of your sighting system is making sure that your shotgun is properly fit to you. Quick story, one of my first matches, I was squatted with Jerry, Lena, and Kay Michulik, obviously some of the best shooters in the world. And I picked up my shotgun and I'm shooting at these clays on the ground, and I'm just miss. And I was really close to the targets, like 8 yards away. And here I am like missing these clays, and I could see the shot going right over the top. And so Lena comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, let me help you out, kind of help you diagnose like what's going on, because at 8 yards, you should not be missing clay targets at that close range." And she's like, "Hey, have you had your shotgun fitted to you?" I'm like, "No, not yet." And I'm like, I've just been sort of compensating, when I mount the gun, sort of having to, just move the stock around so I could get that proper sight alignment. And she goes, "Yeah, after the match, go to a gun fitter and get the gun fit." And literally, night and day, it made a world of difference. And 3-gun's all about having fun, and at least for me, I only have fun when I'm hitting what I'm aiming at.
Well, also, it's a time waster too. When you're having to, when you're mounting the gun and then you're making adjustments after mounting the gun, you're wasting time. Mm-hmm. So, at its heart, guys, it is a competition. So, it's a time thing. You want to save as much time as possible. But the point of this video, guys, is we really just wanted to show the types of 3-gun guns that you're going to encounter when you start getting into the kind of upper tier of what 3-gunners use and everything. And 3-gun is just an awesome competition. I wish I had more time to shoot 3-gun because I've always been interested in it. After meeting a lot of these awesome people that I get to talk to on a regular basis, not only who come down to the farm to shoot with us, but also when we're out at like NRA and SHOT Show and the Blade Show and all these random places, we run into so many shooters who are like, "Eric, you got to get out here and shoot 3-gun with us." So I may have to make it a point to add some 3-gun elements into the video. So in the spirit of that, I think we're going to end the video by coming up with kind of a fun little competition thing we can do. Let's have some fun. We got some sodas and watermelons. Let's do a little bit of shooting and kind of show these guns off a little more.
Let's go blow some stuff up.
Let's do it. All right, guys, all this talk about 3-gun gear makes me want to shoot a little bit. And you know, we have to do things outside of the box. We don't do anything ordinary. So we got some watermelons.
Indeed.
Okay, I got 5 watermelons down there, 5 slugs. All right, these are Bernicki Green Magic, Green Lightnings, okay? Really, really awesome slug, getting on out there at some really fast speeds. It's a 2 3/4 inch slug, high brass. So 5 slugs, 5 watermelons. Let's see how fast Chris can take them down, and then we're gonna set up 5 more, and I'll try.
And slugs plus watermelon equals a good time,
yeah. So probably not your typical 3-gun thing you're gonna see.
No, this what you would see this at a 3-gun match, but again, just to emphasize that 3-gun's all about fun, and this is it right here.
All right, let's see what you got, man.
All right, here we go. It is raining watermelon. Holy smoke. So that was pretty fast. I got watermelon all over me. That was awesome. That was pretty fast, but let's see how fast Eric can do it.
Well, guys, that was some watermelon carnage if I ever saw it. One thing that Chris doesn't know, though, is I'm a watermelon surgeon. So let's see, you know, on this channel, we go through quite a few watermelons. I was looking back through some receipts during tax season, and yeah, I think we ended up buying probably about 300 or 400 watermelons last year. So we've gone through quite a few. This is just scratching the surface, so let's see how fast I can do it. Let's blitz them up here. Ah, dang gun kicked so hard, knocked my hearing protection off. Wow.
Nice.
It just blitzes those things, doesn't it?
That was, yeah, amazing time. That's you know, a little bit of a taste of the shotgun part of a 3-gun, but yeah, we've got a little bit more in store for everyone, don't we?
Yeah, let's break out the handguns, play around a little bit, and then we'll work over to the rifle. So there's our shotgun. Of course, Chris beat me, but he is a champion shooter, so not bad. Any day you can make some watermelons get destroyed is always a good day.
Indeed.
Let's move on. Well, guys, Chris might have beat me, but you know I can't let that last watermelon get away, so I closed in a little bit. Let's pop them real good here. Let's move on. Not bad. All right, that was some fun with the shotgun.
Oh, indeed. Raining watermelon guts and wow.
Absolutely. We're gonna move on to some pistol work. Run into your Salient Arms 34 there. I'm gonna run the same gun. We're gonna go through, we got an assortment of steel poppers from shootsteel.com, some D28s. So we're gonna go through and hit each of the larger D28s 2 times. We got some sodas back there, so each shooter will have the same exact thing. Again, just having a little bit of fun. Like we mentioned earlier, 3-gun is about fun, first and foremost, but you know, add a little bit of competition element. Probably not something you're gonna see in the 3-gun circuit, but a little fun nonetheless.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load up and shoot, and then Eric will follow up right behind me. I'm gonna top off the gun, so we're gonna chamber 1 round, eject the magazine, then load a full magazine. So I've got, I'll have 22 plus 1 in the gun for a total of 23. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So 2 on the steel, and I'm gonna finish off with the soda. All right, there we go. I think one of those sodas may have fallen. Did I catch it on the way down?
I think you actually did touch it.
Might have nicked it, all right.
Yeah,
but,
not bad. I figure those sodas are gonna jump around a little bit.
Still a ton of fun, so now it's your turn.
All right, I'm gonna try. That looks like fun. All right, guys, well, that was pretty awesome. Chris is an excellent marksman, as we all know. I'm gonna try my best to follow that performance there. This little 34 is running real nice. I've been shooting it a little bit. Glock Model 34 is probably one of my favorite all-around guns, but I tell you, this Salient here, pretty awesome pistol. So here we go, very informal. Let's have some fun. Awesome.
Woo! Woo! Not too shabby, friend.
All right.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, that was a lot of fun there. You know, I love shooting steel, various handguns and everything. If I'm not mistaken, I think we might have missed about the same amount of times.
Yeah, it's hard because those soda bottles, you hit one and then all that soda,
Well,
flings
the funny thing
around.
is they fell in about the same area, and we had the one little straggler wanted to fall down, and we both tried to shoot at it, thinking we were going to be all ninja-like and hitting it and everything. It's always fun to break out some sodas and some steel and have a little fun, hone your marksmanship skills. And the thing that I like about 3-gun as a discipline is that it encourages you to get out there and have fun with your friends and challenge each other. And that's what makes you better. When you challenge yourself, challenge each other through friendly competition, you're always going to hone your skills and you're going to coach each other on things that you're doing wrong and stuff like that. So we've done the shotgun, we've done the pistol. Let's move on to the rifle.
Off to rifle.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, guys, so moving along, we're going to try out Chris's 3-gun rifle here, the holding rifle. Topped off with a nice loophole optic here. Very informal. Again, 3-gun, you're going to have very specific iterations that you're going to shoot. You're going to have a chance to kind of go through and scope out the match, and kind of make your plan of attack. We've got some steel set up out here, very informal. We're going to shoot 5 shots at each target. So 5 shots on 2 different targets at 100, 5 at 150, and 5 at 200, all offhand.
Offhand, and that's going to be the tricky part here because, in some 3-gun stages you have to shoot offhand, but most of the time you have some kind of barrier or some kind of support, or you can go prone. But offhand's going to increase the level of difficulty, and this is your home court. It's getting a little hot and humid here. I'm from California, so that's going to be a hometown advantage for Eric here, but I'm excited to see how well we both do.
A little bit of a handicap, we got to get you sweltering and hot, get you all uncomfortable, and then, make you do something hard. So.
Indeed.
All right, well, Chris is going to have a go, and then I'll follow up. Again, guys, real informal, a little bit of fun here.
Indeed.
Let's do it.
All righty, giddy up. I'm going to start off with the left target here. Here we go.
Do your thing.
Yep. There's 5. There's 5. There's 5.
You got it.
There we go.
3 of your shots hit the chain.
Woo!
Up there, like just above on the right. You're smacking the chain.
Yeah, so safety on, boy. Yeah, especially when you're getting out to 200 yards. And I had my scope cranked up to 6 power, and so any little movement, you see that reticle dance. But that was a good time. So Eric, why don't we get you loaded up and see how you do?
Yeah, we'll swap places. I'm gonna have a go. All right, guys. We've switched places here, and just so I don't have any kind of an unfair advantage, I'm not gonna make any changes to the optic. He gave me some feedback there mentioning that 6 power can be a little difficult. Get a little bit of that wobble going on if you're not careful. So I don't have any kind of unfair advantage. I'm gonna leave the optic on 6 power. Have a little fun here. This is an awesome gun to do it with. So here we go. You guys ready?
Run it. There you go. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Put that on safe. Yeah.
I might need to learn how to count though. I think I might have shot some of them.
I know. Yeah, you got a 6.6 round on a few of those plates, but holy smokes.
Yeah, man.
I think it was pretty clear that you beat me. Totally smoked me. I had a few more misses and took some pauses to readjust, and that's 3-gun. And the beauty of it is that any 3-gun match that you go to, it's pretty common that you'll only see that stage once.
Yeah.
And so, if we ran this again, maybe I'd win, maybe you'd be winning next time, but that's the beauty of 3-gun.
And it's crazy. You end up having like a comfort zone that you establish, and part of my comfort zone is I was a little cocky on the shotgun iteration, thinking, oh yeah, it's 5 watermelons, they're real close. How could you possibly miss a watermelon with a shotgun? But, you end up too confident.
Or you get excited.
That's one of the things that I think going into any form of competition, whether it's friendly competition amongst friends or whether you're on a big circuit where you're, competing on a national level, you have to always, reconfigure what your comfort level is, and always respect what that comfort level is, and never go into a situation assuming that it's going to be easy, and always treat it with the utmost respect no matter how simple it is. One example is look at golfers. Okay, you got some guy who is putting for a birdie, okay, and the putt is like 9 inches, and you think, okay, a 9-inch putt, easy, right?
No big deal. But
and then they get that mental pressure where they're, okay, here we go, and then they treat it with the least amount of respect that they should, and they miss. So it really is just like any other discipline. So hopefully in this video, guys, you were able to glean some information about 3-gun gear. That's kind of what we wanted to showcase here. Chris, thanks for coming out to the range.
Yeah,
man.
thank you so much for having me. I had a great time, and look forward to hopefully coming back soon.
Dude, for sure, man. Guys, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.